Social Power, Andre Rosedale, Aspen University, EDD 834, Creating Strategic Change That Lasts. Dr. Larry Gay Regan, December 20th, 2021. Social power. Each organization, no matter how general or how unique it may be in its own industry, is its own unique subculture. These subcultures are displayed through social relationships, roles, and the types of power displayed by both formal leaders and informal leaders. How these subcultures work and how they respond to several types of social power can be the deciding factor in how any organization succeeds or fails. Five types of power. Within an organization, there are 5 types of social power. These 5 types are identified as legitimate power, coercive power, reward power, expert power, and referent power. Legitimate power is identified as power that comes to an individual through the appointment of their position or through promotion. Legitimate power is positional power, and those holding legitimate power may be considered acting in a parental role for the organization. Legitimate power does not make someone a good leader and can be easily weakened or lost. Those holding legitimate power who use it for their own personal gain, show poor leadership skills, or become power hungry will often find themselves in the position of authority without any true authority. Coercive power is having the ability to punish people. Leading with coercive power creates hostile work environments and reduces the efficiency and the effectiveness of any organization. Coercive power often leads to high turnover rate in an organization, reducing the organization's ability to achieve its goals. Reward power is the opposite of coercive power, and reward power is often used to support legitimate power. With reward power, there exists the ability of the leader to provide incentives and rewards for compliance or positive actions of the followers. Expert power comes from the knowledge of the subject matter and the expertise from experience in the subject. Experts hold this type of power based on their challenging work, their ability to network, and their extensive knowledge of the processes at hand. Referent power comes through charisma of the person who holds this power and the personal connection associated between the person holding the power and the person affected by the power. The ability to have referent power depends on the distinct mix of how a person speaks, their mannerisms, the self-confidence they exude, and often their physical attributes. Analysis of social power in the work setting. As a public safety professional who began his professional life in the United States Army, I have been exposed to all 5 types of social power in the organizations I have been employed by. My most current place of employment, the Rose City Police Department, is a medium-sized police department in the southeastern corner of the state of Connecticut. Known as the first organized police department in Connecticut, it was formally founded in 1865. The organization and promotional system have remained mostly unchanged in these 156 years of its existence, which has brought about an interesting result of which social power dominates this work setting. Formal leadership and internal leaders are 2 separate entities within the same organization. Formal leaders rely on their legitimate power to formally administer the needs of the agency, while internal leaders rely on expert and referent power to care for their followers and to meet the goals of the organization. As the promotional system is based on seniority and on political connections, it is the experience by employees that they are promoted when it is their turn. This creates legitimate power being the dominant form of power within the organization. However, as most of the middle managers and upper administration in the department do not hold expertise in their field, and therefore no expert power, and as extraordinarily little charismatic or transformal leadership values exist with formal leaders, removing referent power from the equation, the legitimate power is augmented by coercive power. Middle managers use coercive power in the form of threats to punish employees by denying them time off or assigning officers to the least desirable tasks or patrol areas. Reward power does not augment the legitimate power, as the resources to provide incentives are, as typical in a public safety agency, are few and far between. Often, these rewards or the resources for rewards are saved by upper management and the administration. Internal leaders, the majority of those who will not hold formal leadership positions, use their expertise, their charisma for their profession, and their personal connections with their followers to achieve the formal goals of the organization and the main goal of any police department, to get every officer home safely. While it may take several years for these internal leaders to comprehend having the role of a formal leader will not enable the internal leader to improve the agency, the internal leadership remains steadfast in their quest for the intrinsic rewards over the extrinsic rewards. While working towards the intrinsic rewards, the internal leaders will use their knowledge of the profession to enhance the skills of their followers and referent power to support their emotional intelligence with their co-workers. The alpha dog concept. The concept of the alpha dog in a workplace involves leaders, either formal or internal, possessing referent power. Being charismatic and connecting with individuals on their personal level takes many different skills. One must have a high emotional intelligence, one must be able to motivate individuals, and in some cases, being attractive is also a big plus. The self-confidence that is created by the individual characteristics creates referent power. In an organization, formal leaders can become the alpha dog through the combination of their legitimate power, the use of coercive power, or the use of reward power. It has been my experience in my professional life, formal leaders who can combine legitimate power with referent power and possible positive reward power are able to manage their tasks and become effective formal leaders. Those leaders who combine legitimate power and coercive power while trying to establish referent power are unsure of their abilities, do not address the needs of their followers properly, and are difficult to work for. In order for those who possess the knowledge and expertise as found in expert power to be effective internal leaders, they must exhibit characteristics of referent power as well, or they are just subject matter experts with no following and no real leadership role. In conclusion, the subculture of any organization possesses two types of leaders, formal and internal leaders. These leaders exhibit one or more of the 5 types of social power: legitimate, coercive, reward, expert, or referent. Formal leaders who are toxic quickly lose the effectiveness of their legitimate power. Internal leaders need to possess both expert power and referent power to be considered informal leaders.